Okay, I think it's time to begin. So, welcome to the International Tsunami Memorial Museum Exchange Workshop 2024. This year marks 20 years since the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami. For those who experienced it, the memories remain vivid and life-altering. However, as time passes, new generations emerge who do not have direct memories of such events, underscoring the importance of preserving and sharing these stories. And yet recent events such as the M7.5 earthquake and tsunami that struck Japan's Noto Peninsula on New Year's Day remind us of the ever-present risk posed by natural hazards and the critical need for preparedness. Today's workshop brings together young people from Japan, the USA, and Indonesia, three nations profoundly shaped by tsunami experiences. Through this exchange, we aim to highlight their efforts to preserve the memory of past disasters and their contributions to disaster mitigation. This event is made possible through the generous support of the Reconstruction and Disaster Mitigation Department of Iwate Prefecture, the International Research Institute of Disaster Science at Tohoku University, the Iwate Memorial Museum, the Ache Tsunami Museum, and the Pacific Tsunami Museum in Hawaii. And with that, we would like to give the floor to our young participants and start with a presentation from Japan. So Yamada High School is going to introduce themselves and then show us what they learned about tsunami mitigation.
Hello, my name is Uezawa Yuna.
My name is Sasaki Marika.
My name is Sasaki Mana.
My name is Ono Haruka.
We are from Yamada High School. We are from Yamada High School, the only high school in Yamada Town, Iwate Prefecture. Yamada Town is located in the southern coastal area of Iwate Prefecture. The seawater in Yamada is crystal clear and very clean. It is also famous for its seafood, such as oysters and scallops. And last year, a new oyster steamer roadside station called Oyster was built. There they also sell seafood from Yamada, which I mentioned earlier. At Japanese festival, there are stands selling yakitori and yakisoba, and booths where people can play games, such as target shooting. The Yamada Festival, held for 3 days in September, also has those stands and booths, but what sets it apart are the dances, such as the yagibushi and tiger dances. All the townspeople enjoy performing the dances that have been passed down as a local art form. Before the earthquake, Yamada Town had a total of 11 elementary and junior high schools. After the earthquake, the number of children decreased and there are now only 3 schools. Our high school is small, with only 70 students, but it is a very fun school, with people full of spirit. There are events such as class matches held in the school gymnasium in June, a beach sports festival held at Uranohama Beach in August, and a cultural festival called Saikachi Festival, held in the school in October. The cultural festival is especially lively, with many townspeople attending the festival. By the way, do you all know the movie Suzume, which was released worldwide last year? Suzume is a film about the Great East Japan earthquake. Orikasa Station in Yamada Town, where we live, was featured in that film. The Great East Japan earthquake occurred on March 11, 2011, and the damage was so extensive that it took a lot of time to recover. Many lives were lost in this disaster. The people in the region went through an incredibly difficult experience, but they worked together and overcame it. In order to remember and honor this painful experience and pass its lessons on to future generations, Yamada High School students are learning about earthquakes and tsunamis through our general research activities. Our predecessors were involved in creating a guide map of the tsunami monument and informing as many residents in the region as possible of its location and the damage caused by the tsunami. We took over the activities of our predecessors and did our own activities to inform people. These included conducting guided tours and inviting guest speakers, which I will talk about next.
First, let me tell you about the guided tour we did in September. Fieldwork was conducted in preparation for giving the guided tour. During fieldwork, we took a bus to see the tsunami monuments in Yamada Town and listened to an explanation from Mr. Michimata, a professional storyteller. We were able to appreciate the message of the inscriptions and deepen our way of thinking. Tsunami monuments were created to pass on the lessons of past disasters to the next generation. 14 tsunami monuments are still present in Yamada Town and continue to serve this purpose. We visited 8 of these tsunami monuments. The tsunami monuments describe the damage and lessons learned from the Showa Sanrik tsunami and the Meiji Sanrik tsunami, and honors the many lives that were lost. The Meiji Sanrik earthquake and tsunami occurred on June 15, 1896 at 7:32 p.m. The magnitude of the earthquake was 8.5 on the Richter scale, with an intensity of about 3. There were minimal damages from the earthquake. However, 35 to 40 minutes later, an unimaginably large tsunami hit, resulting in numerous casualties along the coast. The total number of dead or missing was 26,360 and 1,844 buildings were destroyed. Next is the Showa Sanrik earthquake and tsunami. It occurred on March 3, 1933 at 2:31 a.m. with a magnitude of 8.1, causing cracks in walls, cliff collapses, and the collapse of stone walls and embankments. 30 minutes to an hour later, a tsunami hit the Pacific coast, causing damage mainly to Iwate Prefecture. The total number of dead or missing was 3,064 and 1,817 buildings were destroyed. Compared to the Meiji Sanrik earthquake, the number of people affected was considerably reduced because of the previous generation lessons being passed on. The larger the magnitude of an earthquake, the stronger the shaking, and it is more likely to destroy buildings. Earthquakes can block evacuation routes and increase casualties, and tsunamis have remarkable speed and power, easily sweeping away people and buildings. We have learned the lessons inscribed on tsunami monuments so that people will not be forced to grieve after such disasters in the future. An actual tsunami monument reads as follows. After a great earthquake comes a tsunami. If there is an earthquake, gather in high places. If a tsunami is coming, go to the highest place you can find. If you run far away, the tsunami will catch up with you. Know the high ground nearby you. Do not build houses in areas lower than the housing sites. designated to be suitable by the prefecture. Another professional storyteller taught us the lesson Tsunami Tendenko. This is the saying that means when a tsunami comes, do not stay where you are, but escape to higher ground by yourself. Tendenko is a dialect of the Tohoku region where we live. It is passed down to prevent people from losing their lives or trying to help someone in a time of need. We also learned how the townspeople were living on the day the disaster struck, and how some did not escape because they thought the tsunami would not come. We used what we learned during our fieldwork to plan our guided tours. In order to convey what we learned in an easy-to-understand way, we prepared a script with photographs from that time. Although it was difficult, because many of the letters on the stone monuments had weathered away and become illegible, we prepared a script using information from the storytellers and documents from that time. Approximately 20 town residents participated on the day of the guided tour. We used photos from the disasters to explain the situation, but participants often told us correct information about locations. We used photos from the disasters. We also had the opportunity to hear participants' own experiences. Although this event was originally supposed to be us teaching the community, we learned a lot from the community and gained new knowledge. And we learned a lot more than just disaster knowledge through the guided tour. First is the importance of the stone monuments and their lessons. It is tragic to have the everyday life we take for granted stolen away from us in a mere instant. That is exactly why we felt that the stone monuments and lessons have been left behind to prevent the tragedy from repeating itself. Secondly, the meaning of conducting guided tours, even if we realize the importance of lessons learned and the stone monuments, if they are not passed on to the next generation, the tragic and painful events will repeat themselves. Therefore, there was good reason to have done a guided tour. Through the tour, we were not only able to get the local community to think about the importance of passing on lessons learned, but we also had a chance to think about it ourselves.
Next, we would like to talk about our guest lecture in February. We were asked to give a lecture about tsunami monuments to fifth graders at Yamada Elementary School. We were divided into 3 groups and prepared slides and script. We presented a summary of the three tsunamis that we learned about during our field work, including the date and time they struck and the damage they caused. In addition, we made the following efforts to make the lecture easier to understand for elementary school students. The first was to include a quiz in the slides. For the quiz content, we compared the actual tsunami height to something elementary schooler would be familiar with and made it a true or false quiz. Now I'm going to give you one quiz question. Please try to guess the right answer. What is the maximum speed of a tsunami? Number 1, 800 km per hour. Number 3, 320 km per hour. Number 3, 14,320 km per hour. The correct answer is number 1. 800 km per hour is about as fast as a jet plane. Tsunami waves are very fast, so be prepared and evacuate immediately. The second effort was to create a panel about 2 meters in length, the same size as the tsunami monument. Each group worked hard to make it close to the real thing as possible, writing down lessons learned and the names of the stone monuments. For practice, we had our teacher play the role of an elementary school student to help us visualize the setting as we gave a mock lesson. After practicing, we realized that we needed to work on our speaking speed and loudness, so we stayed after school to practice in order to improve. We were worried about whether we would be able to teach the class well on our own, but the elementary school students were very enthusiastic and enjoyed themselves. On the day of our lecture, the students were especially excited when we did the true or false quiz. We will now play a video of the actual class.
それでは正解を発表します。正解は1です。水深が深いほど波が速く、陸に近くほど波が高くなります。マラソン選手でも時速20キロで走るので津波はとても速いです。すぐに避難しましょう。
It was the part we had put the most effort into, so we were happy that the elementary school students enjoyed learning from us. When we talked about the stone monuments, the mood of the elementary school students changed completely, and we were very impressed by how seriously they listened. We were very happy that the actual lecture went well, because I practiced very hard to convey the message to the elementary school student in an easy-to-understand manner. After the class, some of the comments left by the student were, when a major earthquake occurs, I want to evacuate calmly to a nearby high place rather than running far away. I want to protect myself and the life of my family, friends, and community members. If an earthquake occurs, I want to evacuate without hesitation. I want to be prepared so that I can evacuate at any time. In this way, we felt that we were able to increase the student disaster awareness.
We have learned 2 things from our guided tour and guest lecture activities. The first is the extent of damage caused by earthquakes and tsunamis. Japan has long been struck by a variety of disasters. The Great East Japan earthquake left 4,672 dead or missing in Iwate Prefecture and 604 in Yamada Town. The number of buildings destroyed was 24,916 in Iwate Prefecture and 3,167 in Yamada Town. The damage was very severe and extensive. The highest tsunami wave recorded was over 9.3 meters, and the highest in Iwate Prefecture was over 8.5 meters in Miyako City. Tsunamis can easily destroy buildings and cause extensive damage at terrifying speeds. Tsunamis not only destroy buildings, but also easily take human lives. And they strike towns, not just once, but many times over. The buildings and automobiles destroyed by the tsunami caused fires and further destroyed the city. Our town of Yamada was severely damaged by fires, and most of the buildings burned down. Yamada town suffered tremendous damage in this way, but we were able to overcome this hardship thanks to the support we received from many people.
self-defense forces and volunteers rushed to Yamada town to provide food and baths. In addition, Iwate Prefecture received supplies and donations from a total of 126 countries, regions, and organizations by the year after the Great East Japan earthquake. These things made us feel grateful for the life we take for granted. And now, we have a strong desire to help those in need ourselves. The second thing is the importance of communication. People in the past tried to pass on lessons to the next generation so that the same damage and suffering would not be repeated. As a result, the damage was reduced. I found it very inspiring that people in the past had the strong will to continue to pass on their lessons to the present day. This time, we took on the role of teaching the local community on the guided tours and the local fifth graders during our guest lecture. We were able to use the experience and knowledge we acquired during the guided tour to teach elementary school students about the monument meaning and lessons, as well as past disasters and damage thus caused. We hope that they will also pass on those lessons to their juniors as we have to them. We learned a lot from the Great East Japan earthquakes and of March 11, 2011. We must never forget those lessons, and we must live our lives in preparation so that this tragedy will not be repeated. In Iwate Prefecture, about 150,000 buildings were voluntarily rebuilt by 2019, including those under reconstruction. The restoration of schools, hospitals, and other facilities, as well as debris removal and infrastructure restoration, are almost complete. In December 2021, the 359-kilometer Sanrik Coastal Highway connecting Sendai City and Hachinohe City in Aomori Prefecture we free open to traffic, and the infrastructure for reconstruction and support roads is about complete. Thus, as years pass and reconstruction progresses, fewer and fewer people are passing on the lessons learned from the disaster to future generations. We believe this is due to the fact that there are only older people talking about the disaster. We also experienced the disaster, but since we were only 4 years old when the earthquake hit, only a few of us in this class can remember those days. And even for those few, memories of the disaster have faded. We believe this situation will become even more serious in the future. Moreover, it is said that Japan will have a major earthquake within the next 30 years. Therefore, now is a time for us, the younger generation, to learn about and pass on the lessons learned from the Great East Japan earthquake so that the horror of the earthquake and tsunami will not be forgotten. In January of this year, the Noto Peninsula earthquake occurred. The death toll exceeded triple digits with 213 deaths. This led us to believe that the lessons learned from the earthquake and tsunami are only being applied in regions that have experienced disaster. This realization drove home that it is once again necessary to raise awareness of earthquakes and tsunamis among many people. From now on, we would like to spread the word not only in Eastern Japan, but all throughout Japan and to other countries about the damage caused by earthquakes and tsunamis, the road to recovery, the souls of the people involved, and our current situation. Thank you for listening to our presentation.
Thank you so much for this wonderful presentation. We can all tell that you put a lot of effort into putting this together, and I think we all learned a lot about it. And so after the other presentations, we will have a round of discussion. So first we will continue with a presentation from our team from Hilo, so Hilo High School. Okay, so now we can continue with our presentation from Hilo High School.
Okay, girls.
Aloha, 皆さんこんにちは。私たちは広高校の3年生です。これから私たちのプレゼンを始めます。よろしくお願いします。
Aloha everyone, my name is Callie and presenting with me is Molly and Leah. We are in our third year of Hilo High School. We are going to present our project and idea on how to spread tsunami awareness in Hilo. Before we start, I would like to thank Mrs. Cindy Preller and Dr. Walter Dudley for helping us through this project. Both of them have helped us through the creations of these presentations, whether it be this year or the ones prior. We would also like to thank the Pacific Tsunami Museum staff for being so welcoming and supportive. Thank you for allowing us access to your knowledge and resources. The Pacific Tsunami Museum has many resources involving tsunamis, how they work, what damage they can cause, and what we as the people of Hilo can do in case of another one. For example, there have been 3 major tsunamis that hit Hilo in 1946, 1960, and 1975. For these events, there are interactive sections, such as machinery or video, and informational live presentations given here. Stories from the surrounding areas of Hawaii are included as well. One of the exhibits we found the most interesting is this mural. It shows a scale of people in comparison to the height of some of the waves caused by tsunamis in the past. It gives you a better idea of just how large tsunamis can get and just how devastating they can be. There are many horror stories of casualties caused by tsunamis. So, in the past years involving the Tsunami Conference, Hilo student ambassadors expressed their hope to promote tsunami safety to children and youth. In 2024, us, this year's ambassadors, have been working to put those plans into effect.
So, for the reason we decided to reach out to the community was because we wanted to give children an opportunity to learn more about tsunamis. We decided to do this through a children's book. This is because children have been shown to be good at detecting tsunamis before they happen. So we chose to create a children's book to make the importance of life lessons easier to understand for younger kids. Elementary school students tend to remember life lessons easier. For example, in Wakayama Prefecture, high school students have stated how even now they still remember stories about tsunamis they were told in elementary school. There's also the story of Tilly Smith, who was a very young girl who saved about 100 people in Thailand during a tsunami because she knew the warning signs and acted upon them. So following this idea, we wanted to create something for our younger students that they could remember. So for the storyline of the book itself, it follows the 1960 Hilo tsunami, which was a tsunami that occurred very early in the morning at about 1 a.m. We chose this tsunami because it will help kids in Hilo specifically to apply and grasp the messages of the book. The basic plot of the book is about 2 kids who have very different experiences during the tsunami because of how they reacted to it. In this story, one kid sees and recognizes the warning signs of the tsunami, remembers what was told to him by his teacher on what to do about the tsunami, and he is able to successfully follow instructions and do what he is supposed to in the chance of a tsunami. On the other hand, the story follows the boy who does not react to the warning signs of the tsunami and doesn't know what to do when one occurs, and thus things go very differently for him. And then it ends by the tsunami being over and them having to kind of recuperate after everything that's happened.
We hope that these stories can reside and resonate within the children. We share this in hopes of establishing a basic understanding of tsunami identification and safety protocols, which are skills they can take with them for the rest of their lives, whether it be knowing what it means when the ocean recedes, bubbles up, or even when the ocean creates a loud roaring sound. They will now hopefully know and remember to be careful and go to high ground and be further inland when a tsunami is occurring. Once we finish the picture book, we plan to start it out in one elementary school just to test it out to see its effectiveness and how well it works and how well our elementary schoolers will be able to remember these protocols. Our goal is to do specifically 5th grade, as it's been shown that they're most likely to remember it during this time. If the book is a success, the idea is that we're going to draft a letter to the Hilo Waikea Complex Superintendent and hopefully steadily feed our book into the DOE system so everybody can know and be aware of what to do and the protocols if a tsunami were to happen. Thank you for listening to our presentation.
Thank you so much for this great presentation. It's such a great project, and to see that you already tested this, and yeah, I was following your presentation with great interest. I'm looking forward to talk about this more in a bit. Before we do that, we will have our final presentation from Manwan Banda Aceh High School. Are you ready? Yes, okay, then I'll leave the floor to you.
Greetings, distinguished guests, fellow delegates, and organizers. My name is Dita, and it is an honor to represent Mansatu Banda Aceh from Indonesia, a country shaped by the dual forces of nature's beauty and also power. Today, we are here as the youth tsunami ambassadors to share our province, Aceh's journey from witnessing the waves of disaster to the waves of change, of positivity in our community. Now, before we start, I'd like to give our biggest appreciation and gratitude, of course, towards the committees and also the moderators and MCs of this event for making it possible for us to share our presentation on this lovely day. And I would also like to thank all the participants that have taken the time to make these presentations for us to share. Now, moving on, I would like to introduce not just me, but also the rest of my team, where you guys will meet them later on in our presentation. We have Naila, Rafi, Anya, Farid, me, and also Rafa. And we're not going to just introduce ourselves, but we're also going to introduce our province and also our country as a whole, and of course, our school. Now, Indonesia itself is known as an archipelago country that has over 17,000 islands. And Indonesia itself is no stranger to natural disasters. Of course, especially Aceh, which is located at the western tip of Indonesia. And because Indonesia is placed at the ring of fire, of course, these kinds of natural disasters such as earthquakes have been happening frequently in Aceh. And we, as the delegates of Indonesia representing Mansatu Banda Aceh, we have been participating in events to raise awareness and also disaster preparedness, not only for earthquakes, but also for tsunamis. Now, first of all, we're going to go into the background on what exactly happened in Aceh on 2004. Well, to start off, December 26, 2004, there had been a tsunami, which is claimed to be one of the deadliest disasters in this century. Now, a lot of people might wonder, why is it actually called the deadliest disaster of this century? Well, it is also not only is it caused by the human casualties, but also lots of psychological effects. As you can see from the slides, the human casualties of the Indian Ocean tsunami had affected not just Indonesia, but also lots of other countries as well. 94,000 people were proclaimed dead and 132,000 people went missing. That's just only the recorded part of Indonesia's casualties itself. Not to mention the casualties in the countries like Sri Lanka, India, Thailand, Somalia, Maldives, and Malaysia. These kinds of casualties is what made the disaster itself become so much more affected. Now, these are some of the pictures, close-up pictures of what happened post-tsunami. As you can see, there's lots of changes in the topography in the land of Aceh itself, where buildings have now been collapsed and become ruins. And these are other documentaries, other photos that have been taken post-tsunami as well. And you could see that the mosque is still standing amidst all of these ruins. And it's not, as I have said before, it's not just Aceh who had experienced, or Indonesia itself as a country who had experienced this, but countries such as India, Sri Lanka, and Thailand, they have had so much more effects, not just in their land and topography, not just physical effects, but also psychologically, lots of people were affected. And now, as I've said before, that tsunami happened in 2004. But throughout these 20 years, now it being 2024, you guys can see from the pictures that Aceh has undergone so much reconstruction. And we never thought this would be possible, but it was possible because of the help from lots of other countries that have offered their aid to us during those hardship of times. Now, I would like to, we have had efforts in actually building this kind of awareness, which will be explained by my friend Farid.
Okay, now I would like to explain about the Youth Summit for the Youth Ambassador for the World Tsunami Awareness Day 2024. For a week, representatives from Mansatu Banda Aceh were active in all high school student summit for World Tsunami Awareness Day in Kumamoto, such as conference, workshops, study tours, and performance in Kumamoto Prefecture, Japan. In this program, the organizer have invited a total of 500 high school students from 43 countries. These students learned about the history of tsunamis in Japan and various initiatives to prevent and reduce damage from earthquakes and tsunamis. The students also exchanged knowledge about the threat of earthquakes and tsunami and the other disaster as international issues to help reduce the impact of earthquakes and tsunamis in the future. So these are the pictures that we take when we study tour at the Aso City, Kumamoto, and we go to Aso Cho schools to see their culture and make new friends. And these are the pictures that we have taken. We have visited the Earthquake Museum Kyoku that showcase the memories and proof of the Kumamoto earthquakes. When we participate the World Tsunami Awareness Day event Kumamoto, in the first session, we do some discussion about creative reconstruction based on lesson learned from 2004 Aceh tsunami. And the second session is we do declaration for the youth summit World Tsunami Awareness Day in Kumamoto. And this will explain by my friend Rafa.
All right, thank you. All right, my name is Rafa, and now I'm going to explain about one of our activity or program seminar that recently held in November 5th, 2024 that talks about maintaining disaster memory using memory graph application. But before I talk about activity or our program, I would like to explain what is memory graph. So memory graph is one of alternative way that could remind us about something such as a disaster that happened a long time ago. I'm going to give some example. For example, like tsunami, one of a big disaster that happened in 2004 in Aceh. And memory graph can remind people in Aceh about this big disaster. Not only people from Aceh, but also can remind people all over the world. And with this memory graph, we can remind all the things that happened before and can make us do some preparation to handle such a big disaster like tsunami. And also, memory graph can help people that lack of one of topic and can help them to understand such of this topic. I'm gonna give some example again. For example, like tsunami. People in this generation still don't know what is tsunami and how bad is tsunami and how tsunami can claim so many fatalities. So it's important to us to know what is tsunami and how can we understand about it and give some explanation to other people also. And now move to explanation of our activity that recently held. So, Balai Arsip Statis dan Tsunami Aceh or Aceh Static Archive and Tsunami Center, together with Center of South Asian Studies Kyoto University, held a webinar about maintaining disaster memory using memory graph application. This activity was held to commemorate 2 decades of the Aceh earthquakes and tsunami disaster and World Tsunami Awareness Day 2024. So you guys can see some of our picture of our activity here. So this is of our our picture of our activity, and will be explained by my friend Anya.
Okay, so here you can see some of the photos we took from the event. This one on the right corner, you can see we went to a field trip. They took us to some places that were affected by the tsunami to see how they look before and after the reconstruction 20 years later. And then we felt that it was essential to pass on the knowledge to other people as well. So we managed a small session in our classroom to share what we learned from the seminar. During this session, we highlighted key points from the seminar, like how disaster memories can help and inspire preparedness and awareness. And we also encourage our classmates to discuss their thoughts and share their own knowledge about tsunami preparedness. Through this effort, we hope to contribute, even in the small way, to build awareness and preparedness among young people. And this one will be explained by our friend Chutnai.
Thank you. Okay, so we can see that in this page about Tsunami United, which is from the campaign that our team in Manwan Banda Aceh had participated, that was hosted by the UNESCO. Okay, in the Tsunami United UNESCO, this is, we can see based by the documentation of the team in Manwan Banda Aceh that had got the award of having the certificate of recognition from UNESCO for our project entitled Waving Away. We can see that in the right, there is the cover of our digital book, which can be very effective for the next young generation, for us to make it an effective way to show the awareness and preparedness. Okay, what is a digital book? So it is an accessible book that can be used with devices like smartphones, tablets, computer, even laptops. And of course, it is created by the part for our process and our contribution towards the tsunami campaign. Okay, why we created this book? It is to raise awareness and provide a very entertaining education by this beautiful and masterpiece that was made by our team. Okay, before we're going to jump into the next slide and conclusion, we're going to show you our digital book. So, hold on a minute. Okay. Okay. Move back to our presentation. This by the synopsis. Indian Ocean tsunami on 26th December 2004 was one of the biggest natural disasters to ever happen. The impact was very tragical towards many countries, mostly in Aceh. And of course, our story tells about a young girl who had a tragical dream that what we had seen before that. And of course, to continue our presentation, we will present our future plans and conclusion that is going to be delivered by our friend Rafi.
Now we move to our hopes and our future plans. From Foster. Sorry. Okay, firstly, with Foster Global Collaboration on Disaster Mitigation, where we will share our experience with the world through social media. And then secondly, develop innovative tools for preparedness and response, such as making future educative animation and poster. And the last one, educate and raise awareness in local and global communities as we plan to visit school in our local village. We hope to inspire the next generation to create a safer and more resilient world. And then the last one, this is the conclusion for our presentation. Over the past 6 months, we have actively participated in seminars, showcased our creativity in innovative events, and collaborated internationally in Japan to discuss tsunami and earthquake preparedness. This experience have deepened our understanding, strengthened our skills, and reinforced our commitment to disaster mitigation. And we are together. We have taken meaningful steps toward building safer, more resilient community. We appreciate your time to listen our presentation. And if you have any question, you can ask to our team after this session. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for this wonderful presentation. And I think it's great to have two teams actually presenting about creating a book. And I'm very much looking forward to the upcoming discussion. So with this, we would like to start our discussion. And is there a volunteer who would like to ask the first question to any other group?
Tess, is my Am I audible? Okay. Is it all right if I start with a question?
Yes, please.
Okay, now I would like to give out a question to the group from Hawaii. We noticed that you guys have also created a digital book similar to ours, and I'm very curious on what were your process and thoughts going through the works of your book? Because of course, in every book, there's a thought and process to making it, and we also have our own. But we're quite curious to see what were your thoughts and process on your side. That is all.
So when it comes to the book, the main focus we had was we wanted to create a story that our community would be able to relate to. So we wanted to go with a story that was based off of a real tsunami that occurred here, which is why we chose the 1960s Hilo tsunami. And then we further wanted to make sure we knew our audience. So pretty early on, we decided that we wanted to target fifth graders. And with that in mind, we kept the characters of our story quite young as well, because it would help with the kids being able to relate to it. If you have any further questions, you can follow up as well.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there a follow-up question to this? Okay, if not, we can also, is there another question maybe?
Yeah, we actually do have another question, but it's for the Japanese group. So I'll just pass it on.
Yes, please.
Okay. I'm going to ask a question. Because of the few amount of people to pass the lessons of the disaster, as what you guys had explained before, so how do you spread the awareness and preparedness for the next generation, and how effective it would be by just doing or experiencing the preparation of tsunami activities, such as simulation and etc.? Thank you.
If you're very courageous, you can try to reply in English. When it's a bit difficult, I can help you. And you can also reply in Japanese. So they're discussing right now. It's a group activity. The mic is in the hand already.
私たちも小さかったので記憶が薄れてることもあるんですけど、今日みたいに海外の外国の方とコミュニケーション取ったり、小学生や町民の方を対象にガイドツアーだったり授業を通して私たちが学んだ教訓だったり津波の詳細を教えて、実際に起きてしまった時にどう行動したらいいかっていうのを一緒に勉強したり、町として 避難訓練があるので、そういうのに参加したりして、津波が来てしまった時にも対応できるようにしています。
Is there maybe a question from the Hawaii team? Yes.
This is sort of similar to the question earlier for Japan. But are you guys planning to do more lessons with younger kids? And also, how do you guys decide on which schools you present to?
と今は山田高校の1年生が小学生に向けて準備をしていて、地元の小学生を対象に授業をしたりしています。
Maybe there's a question from the Japanese team to the other teams?
アチェの学生の方に質問で、活動、震災のことを伝える活動として絵本を作っているっていうのを聞いたのですが、その他にも残すため、伝えるための活動はしているのか知りたいです。
Right, so to answer the question, we are actually planning to have more projects based on art and music, such as animations and other stuff that we have planned, not just digital books. But since that is just a plan as of right now, they're still in the process of making the ideas and stuff like that. But we hope in the future it's going to happen, that we're going to make animations that we can share on YouTube or any other accessible platforms to the people, not just kids, but also the adults, about tsunami preparedness and etc. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Yes.
I have a question for the Ache group. So with your book specifically, is there a specific age group that you hope to present that book to? And how do you plan to deliver that? Like, would it be presenting it personally within your team, or would you intend for it to be like a bigger part of the general education system?
Right, so to answer the question, the specific age group is for children because it is styled in a children's book kind of art style, and the story is also simple enough for children to understand. And it's also because one of the main points of the book itself, it's about someone who has never experienced the tsunami, so it's better for children to connect with it because they have never also felt what a tsunami was like. And for the future, we would like to expand the project, not just as a digital book, but we would also plan to publish it. And we would also plan to make it into an actual physical copy of the book. And we also had planned in our presentation, we have said that we wanted to visit schools in our local villages, and those schools, such as those elementary schools, we plan on distributing these kind of books towards these children so it can be a part of their library, because most of our schools here, they accept donations in the book donations. So we would like to donate the books about our books Waving Away about tsunami towards these local school villages, and so that the kids there, they can read it whenever they want. And yeah, I think that's the plans for our future regarding the books. But I would like to also have a minute to say a couple of remarks before I end my my question and presentation.
Hello, everyone. Yes, my name is Zulfita. I am a teacher of our students from Man1 Banda Aceh. I am the referee from our principal. Our school, and our stakeholder, we are really committed and really concerned. We also support for these agendas, and we are also take part in many activities like this. So our school, Man1 Banda Aceh, from now on and others in the futures, we are really committed, concerned, and we always want to take part and be ready to share, to spread the knowledge of and the tsunami awareness and preparedness, and we are really support for this. Okay, thanks for the change.
Okay, thank you very much. Are there any other questions from the participants? Yes, there is a question.
ハワイの高校生の方々に質問なんですけど、日本とは違って大きい震災が起こったのはすごく前のことで、私たちの場合はその学習をしたいとなったら経験した人からのお話が聞けるので理解が深まりやすいんですけど、ハワイの方々は実際に経験した人から話を聞ける機会が多分ないと思うので、勉強したりとかするのは難しくなかったんですか？
It's actually a lot of it is at the Pacific Tsunami Museum. They have files and files of interviews after the tsunami. They have 1946, I think they have 1960, and yeah, they just have. So I believe it's all archived, and there's an interviewer and the survivor, and even if the survivor isn't still alive currently, we're able to go back because it's also well recorded. And even now, for the 1960 tsunami, we were actually very lucky because Hilo High School alumni came by about a year ago, and they made their own book of their own personal survivor stories, and they gave it to the Pacific Tsunami Museum, who gave it to us, and we use it as a resource when we were building our book too.
Other questions from the schools? If not, maybe there are questions from the museums.
Aloha. Yeah, aloha. Thanks for the Koki hit there from home. I mean, I don't know if I even need to make a comment later because it's all wrapped into one, but I am so impressed, so very impressed by all of you. And I love that all of you are ambassadors to the children. Yeah. And I'm curious, when you were, everybody's targeting 5th grade, right? But I'm curious, when you were 11 years old, did you have someone mentor you? And did you learn? Did you learn what you needed to learn to survive a tsunami? I'm wondering if that's part of your inspiration, and this goes to all three.
I think we start with Japan.
私たちがその小学生とかの時はまだ復興が進んでいる時で、3月11日に学校でそういう震災を思い出す会みたいなのはあったんですけど、今私たちがやってるみたいに高校生から教わったりとか外部に行って震災の話を聞くっていう
機会は少なかったと思います。
ありがとうございます。Maybe Ache would like to say something?
All right, I would like to answer. Well, first, when we were just 11th grade, of course, all schools are different, but specifically in my school, during the 5th grade, there were no curriculums that involved learning about tsunamis, but how I had known about the tsunamis when I was 11 years old or in 5th grade, I was told by my family, because both of my parents are from a non-government organization, humanitarians that helped to aid Aceh itself. And of course, this kind of the tragedy, the 2004 tsunami tragedy in Aceh, it is so powerful that it created this inseparable bond towards the older people that have witnessed that kind of tragedy. And because of that, this is why lots of parents tell their children about the tsunamis and how to escape from it. But of course, that's just from our parents and not from the schools. And so this is why we actually want the schools to be more prepared and be more aware to actually teach children these things, because we are aware of how important it is. That is all. Thank you.
Okay, so how about the Hawaii team?
Similarly, we also didn't get, we didn't have any curriculum for tsunami awareness. It was more so our parents just telling us, if you feel an earthquake, you should get away from the water, go inland. It wasn't until about 2018, the three of us were in 4th grade during this time. Hawaii had a 6.9 earthquake, and which was pretty big. That was the first time I think anybody's experienced that for kind of a while. It was about a day after that our teachers and like the faculty and staff were like, oh yeah, we should tell these children about the importance of like, this is why you go under your desks, and like also what could have happened and why a tsunami could have happened, and how should have gone inland or to higher ground when a tsunami happens. But that's also why we're here now, because we want to implement it more into the system, to make sure these students, they understand the effects, how to react, how to identify at this moment.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Maybe we have the chance for one more question. Yes, not comment yet, but question.
Thank you, Julia. I have one question, maybe to all the countries or school. I really want to know. This kind of activity project is very good to understand and then to spread information, right? So my question is, do you have already have or plan to do a collaborations among the school in the city or across the city? For example, like in Hawaii, Hilo High School. So I don't know how many high schools there, and also in Yamada High School. So like in the university level, we have like co-organizer or join together 1 or 2 or 3 university and conduct one activity. So is there any such kind of this event together you already done before or you plan to do this? Thank you.
私たちが聞いてる限りではないです。
計画はありますか？
計画もと計画も今のところはないです。
ありがとうございます。Okay, then next maybe Hawaii next.
I think for us, yes, we do plan to collaborate. I think as an initial plan, we just want to go within our district. So right now we have Hilo Waikea district that we hope to collaborate with. So that would be, say, the Waikea Elementary School that we would hope to pass on our ideas to. I think if we were to expand further on into other parts of the island, that would be a plan for more future projects. Thank you.
For Aceh?
Okay, so actually we also planned and make a strategy to have the collaboration with other schools, even though it's in another country or even in our country. Of course, the function is to spread like our project to make it much more easier and much more accessible towards other countries. Of course, like sharing is caring. And we also hope to build a campaign or such as an organization towards these countries and these schools to create a better way to achieve the awareness towards our countries that can or already experience about the natural disasters such as tsunami. So yeah, the thing is we have planned to do so. Thank you.
Okay, so maybe there's, is there one more question from Hayasaka-san?
質問の前に山田高校の子がさっきちょっと答えね計画がないみたいなお話あったんですけど、この取り組みの2年前一昨年が山田町の一つ南の隣の大槌高校の子たちがで、去年はそのさらにもう一つ南の釜石市の高校生の子たちが参加してくれてますので、ぜひ遊びに行って交流してみたらいいんじゃないかなと思います。よろしくお願いします。私の質問はちょっと簡単な質問でちょっと恥ずかしいんですけど、皆さんの3つの高校皆さんの活動をコミュニティの大人の皆さんは何か助けてくれていますか？大人の人たちコミュニティに何か助けてもらっていることがあったら教えてください。
And I think Yamada High School wants to get the mic.
学校の先生からだけではなく、地域の方や家族からも教えてもらって助けられていて、小学生たちにも教える活動につながっています。
Okay, it looks like Aceh.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, of course, in the communities that we had planned, we hope to fulfill the achievement for the expectation. And of course, the project is not only towards for the children, and it will also aim for the adults. And like by creating this campaign, we can make much more project to fulfill, because in the education of the tsunami is very for general. So it will hopefully led to the fulfill the expectation towards any ages. Thank you.
And Hawaii?
We have actually a lot of adults that are around and they really support us. As we said earlier, Pacific Tsunami Museum, Cindy Preller, and Dr. Walt Dudley, and all their staff and volunteers have been super supportive. And when we went in to get gather more information for making our presentation and books. They were so helpful, and we are so thankful for that. We also wouldn't be here without our advisor, Shihata Sensei. So we really have to thank her a lot for this. And on top of that, the community is pretty supportive as well, because as we live on an island, we joke that in a way we all somehow know each other or can relate to each other. So especially some of the older local people who live around here, they have their own survivor stories of how they lived through it or how their parents lived through a tsunami. And I think they also want to help spread the awareness of a tsunami to help minimize casualties and destruction.
Okay, so I think we reached the final part of this program, which is sharing the comments from the representatives of the museums. So the first comment will be by the Vice Director of the Iwate Tsunami Memorial Museum, Mr. Hayasaka Hiroshi.
はい、日本の、東日本大震災津波伝承館というところの副館長の早坂です。よろしくお願いします。本日はですね、このような素晴らしい時間にですね、参加させていただいて本当にありがとうございます。それからですね、間もなくインド洋沖津波からですね、20周年を迎えるというこういうタイミングで、アチェ、そしてハワイ、岩手の高校生がですね、こうやって交流するっていうことには、すごく大きな価値があるんじゃないかなというふうに思っております。私たちのですね、東日本大震災津波伝承館では、一番最後にですね、大事な言葉を用意しています。その言葉は、あなたの行動が未来を作るという言葉です。未来を作るということは、命を守ることだと私は思っています。明日の、それから遠い未来の命、これを守るということだと思っています。災害について私たちは学ぶことはもちろん大事ですけれども、行動すること、つまり行動することっていうのは、多くの人に伝えること、そして対話のきっかけを作るということはもっと大事なんじゃないのかなというふうに思っています。その意味でですね、今日3つの高校の皆さんのプレゼンテーションをお聞きしました。岩手の山田高校のフィールドワークとかガイドツアーに基づいて、小学校の子たちに出前授業で伝えているということ、それからハワイのヒロ高校のメッセージを伝えたい対象と同じような子どもを登場人物、主人公とする物語を作ったっていう工夫、それからアチェ第一高校のデジタルブックによる取り組み、これ全部皆さんよりも小さい子どもたちに伝えるためにそれぞれ皆さんが工夫されている。これがとても素晴らしいことだなというふうに思いました。ちょっと残念なんですけど、私たち東日本大震災津波伝承館は、岩手県内のですね、小学生、中学生、高校生の皆さんがですね、ちょっとだけですね、いらっしゃる数がちょっと少なくね、なりつつあるような状況なんです。それはですね、皆さんのような若い世代、東日本大震災津波は2011年にあったんですけども、記憶が少し薄れているとか、あるいはひょっとしたらまだ生まれてないっていうような子どもたちの世代でもあるんですね。そういった皆さんにですね、私たち東日本大震災津波伝承館は、その東日本大震災津波の教訓と、それからもう一つ大事なことなんですけど、世界中の皆さんからたくさんのご支援をいただきました。その助けてもらった事実を伝えていくということが、私たち東日本大震災津波伝承館の一番の課題だと思っています。今日はですね、国も文化も違う3つの高校の若い世代の皆さんが、過去の悲しい災害について懸命に伝えようとしているという姿を 見せてもらって、私自身すごく勇気をもらいました。皆さんに感謝して、私はこれからも自分の役割、次の世代にしっかり伝えていくということ、私も頑張っていきたいというふうに改めて思いました。今日は本当にありがとうございました。
Okay, for the next comments, I will go in seating direction. So the next comments will be by the advisor of the Aceh Tsunami Memorial Museum, Professor Afan Musailing.
Thank you. On behalf of Aceh Tsunami Museum, this time I would like to appreciate for the invitations for Aceh Tsunami Museum, and also the school from Aceh, from Banda Aceh MAN 1 Banda Aceh, to join this event. And also thank you very much for Iwate Tsunami Memorial Museum and also IRIDES to make this event a success. Again, this I think the third times we are from Aceh, the fourth time from Aceh Museum to join this. And also we would like to thank the participation from Yamada High School to the Hilo High School, and also as the director of Hawaii Tsunami Museum. Some point that I take from the presentation of three high school today. The first from Yamada High School, I think that it is very important you connect with the local monument. Yeah, we understand that monument is one of the key infrastructure that can spread the information or keep the information in that area and then pass on to another next generation. And also it's a very good opportunity and also experience for other high school. Also we can see that Yamada High School already engaged field work with the community as well, and also promoting Tsunami Tendenko, which is, I think, this is one of famous keyword now. Out of maybe in Aceh there is a smong. I don't know, maybe in Hawaii also have another experience. This Tsunami Tendenko promoting by youths, by you, and in not only in Japan but now to other part of the world. And this is, to keep all the people understand, always aware, prepare for the future safer community. And also, you mentioned about fewer and fewer people, sometimes forgot about or don't understand about disaster. It is true. Yeah, even not only in Japan, in other part of the world, people tends to forget. Yeah, disaster will come when you forget about it. This is a very famous quote. Disaster will occur when you forget about it. So it means we have to do a lot of things. Not only us from the academic, not only us from the museum, but I think the youths is very important. Yeah, you already show the innovative effort. Yeah, what you have done to promote and to share this kind of activity to raise another attention to the other school, and that disaster is not only responsibility by local government, by police, but by everyone, including the high school student. And also from the Hawaii, yeah, this also very good effort. I can see here you already engage with community, and also creating innovative storytelling, digital books. We understand now we cannot force, like we have to follow our generation, our era. But now your era, digital era, artificial intelligence, maybe we don't know next 5 years, 10 years, maybe a little bit changing. We just follow that kind of changing in the world. But most important thing is whatever the technology, whatever the effort people doing, we just keep that disaster prevention is very, very important for everyone. And also promoting the disaster prevention not only in their high school, but they will collaborate with other high school or other school in Hawaii. This very good activity. And also for Aceh, they are doing a lot of things so far. Even we can from museum, from university, we never imagine that kind of thing you already achieved done. Please keep doing this and keep maintain this. Collaboration is very important. And I learned that you want to do more in art and music, animation. I think that is very important for teenagers, for young generation. What we learn now, I think, this is, I make some quote. Museum is not only the place to pass on the previous event, but museum is like the representative of next generation. Why I say like this? Because we are now maybe 50 years in the future, we are not anymore here, but museum is still there. So that means museum represents for next generation. So if the museum keep doing like this activity, it's very important. Monument and museum is keep exist all over the time, and people like us changing. Yeah, we don't know how many years we can live here, not all of us here, but museum is still there, I believe, and monument is there. So that means I said museum is representative of our next generation, not only presenting the previous, but we can see museum is representative for our next generation. So thank you very much for today's event. We hope that together we can save our next generation. Thank you very much.
Okay, the last comment for today will be by the director of the Pacific Tsunami Museum in Hawaii, Ms. Cynthia Prella.
That was impressive. Wow. Obrigado, obrigado, yes? Arigato, 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 and arigato. And thank you in Indonesian. How do you say?
Terima kasih.
Ooh. Say it again.
Terima kasih.
Terima kasih. Yeah, terima kasih. Close. Mahalo, mahalo, my people. Merci, dankeschön. Thank you. Seriously, my deep respect, my deep respect. Wise words from the gentleman on my right. I'm so impressed. Take action. Our museums need to be alive, 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 yes. And not dusty old monuments, no, alive by you. You're keeping us alive. Take action, yeah. Tsunami is like that. It is so fast. Yeah, the earthquake happens and the tsunami is seconds. You know, there's no prediction. There's no early in warning. No. The earthquake happens, the tsunami is here. What you're doing is so important because it is not a season. It happens, you react, you have to know what to do. You must know. And you all are doing beautiful things, but you're doing it today with your own imagination and technology and brilliance and spark, which is, my museum needs some help from you. Yes, it does. Absolutely. Please come and make it better. In the spirit of camaraderie and my friends, why don't we all get together? Like, let's get all these high school kids together in person. Yeah? I'll find a grant for that. There's got to be. Let's get everybody together, spend a week together and develop some kind of an international program that we can take home. I'm just throwing ideas out there, but I would love to be in the room with those guys, right? And I'd love for you all to talk together. Yeah, and create. Let's do that. It's just a fun idea. Thank you for my being here. I'm so grateful forever. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much again, everyone, for participating in this 2024 International Tsunami Memorial Museum Exchange Workshop. This event has showcased the incredible efforts of young people from Japan, Indonesia, and the USA in preserving the memory of past disasters and strengthening disaster mitigation efforts. Your stories, projects, and reflections have been both inspiring and a powerful reminder of the importance of learning from the past to build a safer future. So I would like to thank again everyone who's been involved in organizing this event. So the Reconstruction and Disaster Mitigation Department of Iwate Prefecture, the International Research Institute of Disaster Science at Tohoku University, the Iwate Tsunami Memorial Museum, the Ache Tsunami Museum, and the Pacific Tsunami Museum in Hawaii. And most of all, everyone here at the high schools, the students, and of course also the teachers who put in a lot of effort in creating this event. And of course, we are all here today because of your efforts and your great presentations. So thank you so much again for joining us today. For some, it was a holiday. For others, it's already late at night, and still you brought so much energy and so much inspiration for all of us. So thank you so much again. ありがとうございました。